let's get into the mailbag. Where are we going?
Okay, first one. What would you say is the strengths of Nebraska's offense?
Ooh. I would say the strength still is Dylan Raiola's arm and some of the throws he's able to make that just weren't in this offense before.
A strength of the offense, yeah, I'd say that, and I would just in a micro level, I'd say Fedoni. I mean, Fedoni over the middle, free access throws to Fedoni. Fedoni against zone coverage is really good. I think he's getting better. Now I'm getting over my skis a little bit. I think he's probably getting a little better against man. I think Dylan to the tight end is really good.
I'll combine both of those and say Nebraska's, when they actually throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage over the middle of the field, they've had so much effectiveness there, especially against zone. Like Dylan's PFF rating against zone coverage is through the roof, and his ability to fit passes into tight windows and then the emergence of over the middle threats like a Thomas Fedoni is probably their most effective aspect of their offense, because they can't work the perimeter, they can't run the ball, and they can't throw screens. So other than that, they got to lean on what works.
I'm surprised you guys didn't say the screen game.
It's going to happen.
I don't know what to say about the screen game.
I mean,
God, they don't. I'll tell you one thing though. Rule and Satterfield, they're unapologetic.
Oh, wait till the first bad screen on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, wait. A 3rd and 8. And they call a screen.
Sybil might be booing in the press box.
I love the boo. I love the sound of boo.
The boo, and then also the sound of silence in Memorial Stadium, where you can hear like that plane that's flying over, and that's all you can hear. Because it's just like, boy, you got that kind of silence at Ohio State Saturday.
Yeah, you did.
When I walked out there, it was like the.
When Ohio State threw that sideways ball, the number 32 late, there were boos.
Hey,
we were on the field.
How about Dylan, though, coming to Sat's defense today? I don't know if you heard that part. Hear that. He basically said that he's getting too much criticism, and he called it unfair, and that it's on the players. Like he said that Satterfield is calling the plays to make them a more dynamic offense, and the players need to execute them. So talk about a freshman quarterback going to the bat for his OC.
Yeah, that's a good look.
It is a good look.
Yeah, it's a good look for Dylan. It's a good look for Dylan in that it's a team-minded look.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking about the total operation, not just yourself.
All right, next question.
Okay, next question. What can the Big Ten do to improve their roughing?
Oh, training. I mean, honestly, I think Troy Dannon would, I know he would tell you that. Troy Dannon, the Nebraska AD. I think that there needs to be better just training. I mean, and there's a lot. God, Rule was very eloquent in talking about everything involved in reffing now. Now they got earphones. They're talking to each other during the
technology
game.
being used.
The Rosemont Replay Center.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot to that discussion.
And it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
I
know it's an example.
Because I think refs don't trust their instincts. And so they're like almost unsure of themselves when they're making calls because they're worried about it getting corrected or knowing that it will be reviewed and that the replay will get it right.
And I think sometimes they overcompensate when bad calls are made. And you saw the next week, okay, we're going to overcall offensive pass interference.
100.
And Troy Dannon said that was a point of emphasis to call OPIs because the week before did Oregon or Ohio State.
I don't know which one it was. The infraction was on, but it was in that game.
A controversial OPI.
Yeah.
That was not called.
Right.
And then they decided to call OPIs that weren't OPIs.
Right. Interestingly, Rule yesterday, on Monday, said that those sideline calls they flagged him on in both cases, the Big Ten apologized and said we shouldn't have called it. He doesn't want to hear those on Sunday. That's what he said. I don't want to hear any more apologies on Sunday. They got an apology this Sunday for the bad spot, the bad first down. The first down that wasn't called a first down.
It's fascinating to hear like how much these guys talk to Tony Petitti and Bill Carollo.
Bill Carollo.
I don't think like anybody would know that. Like that those guys on Sunday and even Saturday evenings, their phones have to blow up between ADs and head coaches.
Bill Carollo is the director of officials. He's a key figure in this. And now he always talks to us at Big Ten Media Days, and we generally don't listen. We're doing other things because it's just
you're eating El Toro by that point. Usually.
Yeah, but or thinking about El Toro. But I think this year, you know what? People are going to listen to him and ask questions.
Okay, next one. We already kind of touched on this, but can Marcus Satterfield come back and redeem himself before the season's end? We've had a lot of talk on our message board and Twitter about how fans aren't super thrilled with the offense right now.
I mean, some of it too is can they the receivers. I mean, I think we thought that the receivers would be more difference makers than they added. I mean, I thought Banks and Naor were going to be better than they are, and they have not produced or gotten the separation since the UTEP game, really, where, they're not Trey Palmer or Samori Toure as far as like game breaking plays. Nope. You go back and like watch the Ohio State game from 2021. Samori Toure had a couple of huge plays where he outran Ohio State's defense. They just don't have that. And that makes everything that much harder for a coordinator.
Yeah. And then just how much their inability to block on the perimeter changes for everything for the running backs. And as we mentioned, the screen game, like that position group has really underperformed considering the expected talent we thought we were getting out of them.
Yep. Now, as far as the question goes, that once the perception gets rolling against a coordinator, it's really hard to reverse. It gets the conversation can get pretty odd. But he's gotten support, and you mentioned from Dylan. He's get support from Rule. So I don't know. But as far as the fans coming around, it's hard to reverse that conversation.
Well, or they just move on to the next one. Guess who nobody's talking about this week? Ed Foley.
Yeah. Well, it's because the special teams has come around a little bit.
It started out.
I mean, they muffed an opening kickoff and shanked a punt.
Resulted in no points, though.
But then they came around.
I mean, it didn't affect them at all.
And, when your kicker makes a 54-yarder and a 37-yarder and what was the other one?
47.
Something.
47.
When that happens and the operation's good, and then when you cover kicks the way they did, there was a redemption in that game.
All right, final question.
What stadium has or had the best food for the press, and what was it?
I will say the one that sticks out to me is Northwestern used to hire out a local barbecue company to cater
You're incredible.
The meal. And I don't know if it was at least twice they did this. And they've changed it up because one time I went to Northwestern and they brought us like a Whole Foods box of fruit and berries that
during
COVID.
It was really odd.
It was bizarre.
It was bizarre.
Cheese and crackers and
weird kind of like
charcuterie
nuts.
board.
Pretty much. But the barbecue was elite. And this is one's not even fair, but the Big 12 title games at the Cowboys Stadium, I mean, it was like you were eating at like a Ritz-Carlton restaurant.
Like at Jerry Jones's house.
Yeah.
For brunch on Sunday. It was, Imagine that.
What about you, Sid?
What's that?
What about you? One?
I mean, no, I don't. You know what? My answer to this is I don't commit that sort of thing to memory. I just eat the food. I will say this year, God, Abby, don't kill me for this. This year's been awful. Awful. Purdue,
rough sledding. Indiana,
it was not edible, the pulled pork. I couldn't eat it.
They did have French toast donuts, though, that were phenomenal.
Parlor donuts. Okay, I'll say that, Abby. They had these boxes of they were rolls more than donuts, and they were from a company called Parlor, which must be local. And I had 3. I didn't tell you guys.
Oh God!
Yeah, I had.
Well,
3.
how many? Okay, at Ohio State they had a McFlurry bar, and I think you had 3 or 4.
I had 3 of those.
The smoothies or the coffees?
I had 1 coffee and 2 smoothies. It did a number on my stomach.
Yeah,
but the Parlor. So I can say the Parlor rolls at Indiana were a highlight.
I don't know if it's the best, but it's by far the most memorable is Penn State.
Oh,
because you go there and it's the most random, eclectic potluck.
It was like a church picnic.
Yes, you have like a crock pot full of tamales next to fettuccine, next to pulled pork sliders,
full rib slabs,
ribs, pies of all sorts of variety, like a cake, like a full-blown cake, and then like a big tub of ice cream from their dairy store. Like, it's so random that no matter what you're hungry for, there will be something that fits what you're looking for. And again, like there's no theme or plan behind it. It's just basically everybody brings something and we'll set it up in the media room. that like forever. Like when I think of just wild pregame meals, Penn State's.
Well, they cook it there. I don't think people are bringing that.
I don't know. I just like the idea of everybody, all the staffers showing up.
I don't think
With a
like
crock pot.
by like health code they would be allowed to like let you bring your own food and serve it.
But I like the visualization of everybody, just their grandma showing up, setting up a bunch of folding tables.
Quick shout out to Nebraska, though. I'm always happy with Nebraska's spread. Always.
Iowa has a good one, actually.
They do.
Iowa's is surprisingly good.
Their Black Friday, like turkey and mashed potatoes.
Oh, God,
all that sort of stuff. It's good.
Comforting.
It's good.
Yeah, it's up like places like Colorado and Miami. They didn't even have food.
Colorado not.
No, and you just had to go to the concession stand and figure out something.
That's right. That's right.
Miami didn't have anything.
I give bonus points to schools that serve post-game beer, though.
Illinois, Texas Tech, Washington.
Colorado did that.
Colorado.
That's amazing. I'm going to defend Colorado a little bit. They give you a coupon that you can go down and use at the concessions. And I had a burrito and watched the Nebraska kids literally.
You got a burrito? I tried to get a burrito. They told me no, and I had to get some like wet hot dog.
I got a
Joey
burrito.
Chestnut hot dog.
I got a burrito, and I ate the burrito as I watched the Nebraska fan get assaulted outside the stadium.
Colorado's amenities and their setup not up to date. It's pretty. I mean, you go in that field house, it's pretty archaic in there.
It is. They're 6-2.
They don't even have a women's restroom in their press box.
Ooh, that's odd. Yeah, and it's odd, properly odd, because there's women and men.
And they go in. Yeah, women go in there.
Oh yeah, I was in the bathroom with Gary Barnett, and a woman just walked in, and
the sink is right by the urinal too, so it can get a little awkward in there.
He made a joke. He's like, "Yeah, we're not going to pass the OSHA test of these bathrooms here."
All right, that got interesting.